This happened about a decade ago, at another company. Some details changed for anonymity, all names are fake. I was encouraged to share by a buddy. I worked in a decently sized team of engineers. Me and another guy we will call John were junior in the team, and from a similar cultural backgrounds, which I guess he took to mean that we were destined to be friends, lol. For a few weeks or a month or two, it seemed that we were in the honeymoon phase of a new job and relationship. Meeting up with our newly minted work friends and learning a lot, and making silly mistakes, laughing them off, and staying late to fix them. Typical new job stuff. Our team was strong and we had good senior engineers who were honestly probably some of the best professionals I've met in a while, since they provided the rare mix of guidance and space to help us and point us in the right direction, but not do things for us. The only unusual thing about our team was, our boss is a lady, we all call her Kate. Nothing wrong with that obviously, it's just that that specific company at that specific location at that specific time, had almost no women. Now, being a normal, healthy person, I barely noticed and certainly didn't care about Kate's gender. She was a very good boss who I got along with great, maybe since we have similar personalities, and frankly, she was the reason I stayed at that job long after I had hit my ceiling there, lol. Anyway, in time, I noticed that John did not seem to respect Kate or take her seriously. He'd be more likely to listen to male senior engineers and pay attention. In fact, at one point, we had a meeting with Kate that he happened to miss, where she gave us some direction. I personally didn't agree with the idea, and didn't think it was the best way to do things or would even work, so when we later had a small meeting with John, a senior engineer named Mike who explained the way forward to start the meeting, and another guy working on that part of our task, I raised my concerns and explained why I wasn't confident about it. John basically laughed at me and said that Mike knew what he was doing, and my concerns were all overblown. I was so shocked by him throwing me under the bus in public like that, when we were supposedly friends. All I remember doing is kind of staring at him and then explaining, well, actually, it was Kate's idea. He got quiet and kind of awkward and said, oh. And then, believe it or not, he actually asked me to reiterate my concerns, and took them a lot more seriously. For the record, I was mostly wrong and Kate was right, my only win was tweaking a tiny part of what we did, which worked pretty well. This was the first time that I began to believe that John actually had a problem with Kate due to her being a woman. Before that, we were still new in the job and he had kind of a funny personality where he'd act really high energy and extroverted, like he was constantly faking it. I began to pay a lot of attention to the rare occasions he interacted with women, and, yep. Talking to the big boss's admin assistant, rude and dismissive. Ignores the front desk lady's good morning. We go out for lunch, mean to the waitress, who is just a kid, for fuck's sakes. Eventually, I had a one-on-one with Kate, and kind of danced around my concerns with John. I did not directly say that I thought he had a problem with women and kind of saw them as not worthy of the same respect that he gave to men, but she caught on and basically said that she is aware and has dealt with it before, and it just comes with the neighborhood in this industry. Well, that's not going to do at all, I said to myself. By now, John's attitude had devolved pretty significantly. He began to act like he was the big man and was now better than our initial friendship. He'd hang out with the senior engineers and make loud edgy jokes, spend a lot of time at the coffee machine, just laughing and currying favor with others, while I was busy working. More than once, he tried to offload his work onto me and more than once he succeeded, because I am living doormat, laughing face. Even so, I had a plan, and it was, if I can flatter myself, beautiful in how simple it was. We got a few new tasks from Kate. These were pretty complex and technical in nature, and to be honest, were not something a newbie could just do alone. You'd need to ask a lot of questions and do a lot of talking to seniors and other stakeholders before you can get to a decent answer. For similar tasks in the past, I'd simply set up meetings for John and I to meet with others, and take notes, come up with future actions, etc. Just figured, I was being a good team player by being responsible and seizing efficiencies, etc. But, I realized at some point, it had the effect of me mostly doing the annoying legwork for John, and a lot of the technical work, too. Imagine conversations like, hey dude, can you show me how to make this Excel thing work, and then I go off and basically do it for him. Anyway, what I did was simple. I did not help John. I did not set up meetings for his project, just mine, where I met with seniors and chugged through my stuff. I didn't walk over to John's desk to ask him about advice for my project or see where he was with his. At one point early on, he did ask me how to calculate something which I didn't know off the top of my head, so I said that, I don't know. I met with Kate and a few seniors to present my project. I'd like to say I knocked it out of the park, but honestly, there were significant problems lol. Still, they seemed pleased by my efforts, and mostly that I had an 80% solution in 50% of the time. Word to the wise, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, and there is value with providing a mostly but not totally complete project to your boss, to make sure you're on the right track and giving them some job satisfaction by letting them put that final polish on it. I got kudos, and that was that. Couple weeks later, the actual project due date is bearing down on us. John starts freaking out and asking me where I am with mine, and how I did it, and I casually say, "Oh yeah dude, I finished that ages ago and presented it," and he looks at me like I'm an alien, lol. He asks me for my material which I gladly point him to, which didn't help him much since our projects were pretty different. Again he tries to bug me to do his work for him, but again, I simply say, I don't know. I didn't actually attend the meeting that I'm told followed. From what I heard, it was obvious that John not only executed very poorly, he simply hadn't put much effort into it. And, when Kate asked him questions and stuff in the meeting, remember, she was his boss, he was nasty and dismissive, and tried to get the seniors on the team to join him in ganging up on her, which didn't work, because again, she was the boss. He might have hung around for another month or two, before he was out. Never asked if he quit or was fired, never heard, and don't really care. I just found him on LinkedIn and it appears that his career languished for a while after that. Meanwhile, Kate was promoted a few times and so was I, until I became a senior engineer, where I hit my ceiling as described, lol. She continued to be an excellent boss, even while I went through some pretty nasty personal business, and we have kept in touch over the years. So, the morale of the story is, women are people too, including when they are your boss. Treat people respectfully and don't neglect your job duties, or else I will simply let you drown. The end.